Hi, everybody. Meteorologist Joe Cioffi. Weather in 5 days in 5 minutes. Brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York, in southwest Suffolk County on Long Island, serving the entire New York, New Jersey, Connecticut tri-state area with everything you need to make sure your home looks great, functions well, and can stand up to adverse weather. And speaking of adverse weather, remember, with winter coming, it's going to be about winter cleanups and snow melt and ice melt, and they are Long Island's largest supplier of rock salt. 631-756-1125, the phone number, and the website is omnitruevalue.com. Well, we're kind of in a gloom and doom sort of day here as we look at the satellite loop. One thing that stands out is that we have this moisture feed that is moving up the eastern seaboard and moving right up into New England, and it's affecting areas back to the south and west into the northern mid-Atlantic states. And that really is not going to change very much today. That flow is sort of locked in at least for a little while longer. In the meantime, we had a snowstorm over the weekend in the northern Rockies and in the westernmost Dakotas. This system is now beginning to organize and move eastward, and that is going to eventually bring some showers and thunderstorms further east into the Mississippi Valley over and beyond over the next couple of days. On top of that, we've got some action here on the far right where we're looking at the tropics, and we're going to take a look at that a little bit later on here. So, with respect to what's happening on the radar this morning, this is as of 7 a.m. There's some patchy areas of showers and some downpours. They seem to be particularly concentrated this morning over New Jersey. Then there's a gap, and then there are a few showers and downpours over parts of eastern Long Island. Still seeing some areas of rain on the radar pushing northward today, and not covering the entire area. There's large breaks in between, and I think that's probably going to mean that we're going to have some showery rains to deal with for a while. There's action up in New England. We've got some rain and showers through the Great Lakes, and then you can see down in the southwest. This is actually good news for this area here in the southern plains because it still remains abnormally dry, and they're getting a nice good soaking round of downpours and maybe even some thunderstorms, some leftover snows in eastern Montana, western North Dakota with rain to the east of there, and a new system coming in to the Pacific Northwest. So a pretty busy flow here. 7-day rainfall amounts from WPC. We are looking at anywhere from the dark green, an additional quarter of an inch to an additional inch or so from New York City east up into New England. Also, you see in the middle Mississippi, from the Great Lakes to the middle Mississippi Valley down to the southern plains and the western Gulf Coast, large area of 1.5 to 2.5 inches of rain for the next 7 days, and also ample activity going on in the Pacific Northwest. And we could start looking at the probability of at least a couple of inches of snow. The blue area indicating 50% or more, the lighter blue 50% or more, and you're seeing some patches there. This is all on top of what has already fallen. In the red, we're talking about a 90 to 95% chance of another couple of inches, but this system is kind of at the point now where we're starting to see it wind down as it moves to the east. So the weather going forward, we have to wait for a cold front to clean this mess up into the east. We've got this inverted trough along the east coast and an onshore flow. You see it here. The next weather front is way back out to the west. Here's our low that's moving up into Canada. Here's more energy coming into the Pacific Northwest. So going forward, we're still going to deal with some showery rains today and even into tonight and tomorrow. And not everybody's going to see them. There are going to be some dry periods, but I don't think you're going to see a whole lot in the way of sunshine today. And then you got another little low here This is a system that the Hurricane Center's been watching. It's not really going to develop, but just kind of sitting there offshore, enhancing the onshore flow. And as we move into Wednesday, we start to get a cold front to approach. And once that goes by, we could see some genuine improvement here come Thursday and Friday. And also seeing perhaps a second system trying to form there off the southeast coast late this week on some of the latest model runs. Kind of interesting to see that with the high moving out to New England, but at least from the standpoint of weather going on in the northeast and mid-Atlantic states, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday look good, albeit cooler, and maybe that will last into next weekend with a little bit of luck while all this low seems to dominate the scene off the southeast coast and making for an onshore flow further to the south. So something I think we're going to have to watch to see what happens with respect to any kind of development with this particular system here for the latter part of the week. Weather in 5 brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon. 631-756-1125 is the telephone number and the website omnitruevalue.com. Just give you a view of the tropics here. There are, again, a couple of areas worth noting, and we're going to talk more about this tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show at 7:30 Eastern Time. We've got what were two separate systems. There's a little one up here, and then there's another one here. They're kind of merging together. This is what you saw the models kind of take northwestward and then turn northward with no development. And then you see this, what's left of this long column of moisture. Now, this is where the models perhaps try to form something just east of the Bahamas late this week. And the Hurricane Center mentions that in their discussion. And one other area of note is that some of the weather models are looking at the possibility of eventually something coming out of the southeast Caribbean this weekend or early next week. So we are in the last weeks of hurricane season. There's a little less than 5 weeks to go before we're done. And still the possibility that we could wind up with another named storm or two going forward. So we'll talk about that tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show. We'll go long range and the short range as well. So we'll see you tonight at 7:35 Eastern Time.